I'm back! It's your boy Kiyo Kusagani, bouncing back with one of my favorite games of all time. It's Ghouls N Ghosts. I already reviewed it, and I stand by everything I said in that review. It's the most exciting challenge you'll ever take. And in true Ghosts and Goblins fashion, one video wasn't enough. We gotta play it again for the real ending. So where do I even begin with this picture? Brave Sir Arthur dives headfirst into hell to avenge the princess, and you're immediately met by your fellow knights' bodies being strung up on tombs as a warning. It only gets more wicked from there. It's insane, and it never lets up. Somehow, in this one level from your grandpa's game, you see more unique art seconds apart from each other than you do the entirety of Diablo 4. Akira Yasuda left video games way too soon. He truly put his soul into everything he drew, like Lost Worlds before this, Final Fight, and Power Stone 2. I don't think AI can ever come up with anything this hostile or devilish looking at all. Speaking of which, the Typhoon's the first part that tends to challenge newer players. Magic's one of a few correct answers for that challenge, as you can see. Your Ultra attacks make you invincible while you use them, making them just as good for offense as they are for defense. But that's not obvious at a glance. Some gamers detest this kind of design, where everything's not told to you up front. But in this case, do we know if that trick's intentional or not? Testers are human. They can't predict everything a player might try, especially when they have their idea of how a game's supposed to play. There's a difference between vital game mechanics being hard to grasp and obscure lore that isn't needed but helps you win. Ghouls sits firmly in the latter. Here's the first boss, by the way. Blink and you'll miss it.
And it's gone.
Now that the enormous lizard giving himself head's gone, leaving little tricks like that in a game all about overcoming adversity, intentional or not, often adds to the excitement if you stumble upon it, especially in an age before the internet. You eagerly pass your smarts down to your struggling friends, then you all walk away, smug you beat that impossible game. It's not a matter of secretive game design being good or bad. You should be asking if the secrets are satisfying to find, like they are in this game. That's what really matters. On to the current matter. Level 2's just as beautiful as Level 1 is, if not more so, with the exception of this broken bridge. The foes you fight throughout the game are reactable. That hit I took from the bouncing turtle's avoidable. It's all impatience. You can't jump off the trap planks if you step on one. So if you aren't psychic, so sad, too bad, you're bug bait. I didn't even memorize all of them. I just know the last 6 planks of every bridge are always deadly. I get why it turns unfair. Capcom's afraid of their players being too good. People actually finished Ghosts and Goblins twice. But it's still really silly since you already have to be great to beat Stage 5. Your average Joe'd faint from the onslaught. The gargoyles aren't silly though. These stony studs are always fun to fight since they pick from several random behaviors. No two RMers are alike between playthroughs. Sometimes they'll keep their distance, then sometimes they'll try to crush you with their big red butt. Unfortunately, that's not how I died. I thought about restarting right there and then to preserve as many lives going into Stage 5 as I could, but I pushed on since I was caught in a tough spot, and I'm glad I did. This ended up being the run. So, for anyone crazy enough to try this at home, don't reset on bad starts, unless you're playing a cave game. And don't underestimate Stage 2 either. Ghouls is consistently hard throughout your time with it, even Level 1 with its Typhoon. The even challenge curves, super welcome as opposed to adventures in Disneyland, suddenly getting impossible on Space Mountain. Hang on, I gotta curb my dog first. Come here, Spot. Come here, boy. No pooping on the grass. Good boy. Now, if you're playing along at home, you might have noticed Cerberus has less health than you'd expect. Or the checkpoint was further ahead than the gargoyle, along a couple other differences. This is the US version. This is the version you get on Capcom Arcade Stadium for your PC, PS4, and yada yada. But it's also the version I played in real life since I live in the US. Duh. If you played the game on PS2 or Xbox though, Capcom Classics Volume 1, you got the European version instead. It's pretty different. It's far stingier with extra armors and bosses have more health. But the common enemies and bullet speeds are notably slower. So yes, this is the quote, easy version of the game, but that doesn't mean anything's easy at all. Doesn't matter which version of the game you're playing, this tightrope walk across giant demon tongues is always insane and takes great coordination. I can picture the developers laughing their heads off putting a chest right in a demon's mouth, then being equally impressed someone actually got it and lived. It's a lot like Mega Man 2 and many other Capcom games. They tone down the enemy's health, but the hard parts, like Bubble Man's thorny obstacle course, are always hard. They were onto something there. If you strip out the most dangerous parts, is there even accomplishment anymore? It definitely wouldn't be as memorable to beat without that instant death haul. And that's a trait still in most Capcom games today. Mainly the Resident Evils. I love them so. Back on topic though. Stage 4 is probably my favorite stage in the whole game, minus the boss worm. But it's close. Almost every stage is so articulate and beautiful. This one barely takes the cake though. You'll see why. These burrowing worms, one of which I just diced, play such a key part in making the stage stand out. Note the lance just spawned behind me, and I have golden armor. You're intended to lay back and take your time like I did, but if you got the lance while you're powered up, you can rip right through these schmucks with a little luck. There's a lot more ways to attack this trap than the new McDonald's Big Arch. Either quickly and recklessly, or slow and cautiously. That adds considerable replay value for finishing quickly, which goes well with Ghouls supporting time attack on Capcom Arcade Stadium. Even without magic, I could have chose to ignore the worms behind me at the end of that hill. It would have been a considerable risk, but I could have shaved 4 seconds off for it. It's a pretty good speed game. Likewise, if I let Mr. Power Glove hit me here, I could have fallen through the spikes and skipped part of the level. Which I probably should have done since I hit the worst patch of bad luck I've had in the whole run. I was expecting the knife out of that chest. Ironically, this is the one place where the flame would be useful. Otherwise, the worst weapon in video game history. The axe's upward angle would be good for some of Stage 5, since many enemies die from above there. But it's still a subpar choice, since you can only throw one at a time. At least it's not the flame, right? I covered that all in my review, so I won't go on too much. I just got really lucky and got an actual upgrade thereafter. It would be such a blessing when Treasure and Nobuya Nakazato decided enough's enough and let you switch to any weapon you picked up over the course of the game, without pausing like in Mega Man. Gunstar Heroes got an arcade release for good reason. The single weapon only crap might be outdated, but you can never replicate its demented denizens, like Ohm the Worm here. Oh me. Wow, I sure gained weight. This whole game makes a great case for the quality of your art actually mattering, since that's a huge reason why it's held up so well, aside from the controls and everything else clicking together. To think Kenji Inafune and everyone else would make a boss this insane again, but in 3D, multiple times. This is why Lost Planet and Monster Hunter are loved so much. Alright, last stage. The grand champion of hard video game levels. Ohm's pretty tricky since you gotta watch everywhere for ascending or descending worms, but Satan's done messing around now. You get attacked before the stage even begins. Then you have to face 4 highly unpredictable, devilishly handsome gargoyles afterwards. 3 major tips for the gargoyle gauntlet. 1. Take your time with them. Don't rush to 4th base and risk having 2 or more at once coming after you, especially if you're in your boxers. 2. Keep your distance if you can. And 3. If you open the first trap chest, there's gonna be a chest with an armor inside after you beat the second armor. If you kept your clothes on, I highly recommend leaving it there and picking it up only when all 4 gargoyles are gone. Unless you're like me and couldn't resist those bulging red muscles, in which case the chest order's all messed up like it is here. Don't you just hate it when you're minding your own business, then land on a dragon's spiked tush? Not to worry, 3rd time's the charm. I get it right this time. Fun fact, while I was producing this video, I wondered if I'd survive the Aremmer without landing on a dragon if I took the ladder rather than jumping straight down like a dope. The answer was yes. Arthur climbs fast enough that if an Aremmer tries to dive towards you, you won't get hit by it as long as you're going down. Reiterating, mistakes are rarely not your fault in Ghouls N Ghosts. If the game is going to forcefully kill you anywhere, it's most likely to be in Stage 3 when you're jumping from tongue to tongue, since there's so little room to maneuver there. Not to mention, opening up the chests carries the risk of giving you the flame. Enough said. I don't have too much to say about the following hall and ladder climb, as it's a break after that brutal gargoyle gauntlet. So I'll catch you at the boss rush. Behold! King Astaroth, the last boss of Ghosts and Goblins. Wow, he's just as lame as he always was. Man, the bosses in Ghouls sure came a long way. From Monkey See Bad Thing, Monkey Pound Button, huh? To be fair, not all the bosses were that brainless in Ghosts and Goblins, but most of them were. Why else would Astaroth be there? Game hardware came a long way 4 years after 1985. 2 of them, though, and I have problems. You're supposed to straight up pound that button harder than ever, getting right up in their face before they belch flames. But mashing is not my gaming strength. I'm not getting any younger. Thus, that'd be the greatest hurdle to Deathless for me. You might find that part easier if you're better at button pounding than I am, but I will admit to using autofire if I ever get a Deathless run of this game. Not happening without it. Did I mention the boss rush is even more clever than that of Mega Man X? All the disembodied parts of the bosses you beat try to stop you one last time before you reach Satan's throne. Inti Creates turned all the revived bosses into zombies, blindly loyal to El Piso. And that's the other time they did something clever with a boss rush. The last real threat here are the goblins with item pots, ready to give you a useless weapon right before the end. That's the only other major time you can get screwed by RNG. It has happened to me once, and I was really mad about it. But as bad as that is, it didn't damper anything fantastic this game did. Here's one last monstrosity for the road. Beelzebub turns into a bunch of little bees, but it's the same deal. You just keep shooting. And that's a loop of Ghouls N Ghosts down. The main reason why the European and Japanese versions are way harder is this stage specifically. I got checkpointed at the double Astaroths. That does not happen outside the US version. You die there, and you go all the way back to the first Astaroth. You gotta do it all in one clean run. I actually have managed to do this on my second 1cc of this game, but this replay specifically means much more to me because it's the first time I conquered this brutal game. The mistakes made it more entertaining to watch rather than not IMO. Thus begins the G&G tradition of making you replay the game with an ultimate weapon. I am not going to showcase much of Loop 2 since it's far easier, but it is interesting it's more of a victory lap compared to a challenge increase like its prequel. There is a very slight challenge increase. There's an extra vulture here or there, but nothing really changes all that much, unlike Capcom's earlier games, like Trojan or Tiger Road. The first two chests give you what you'd expect. A trap, and then a golden armor. Then, as long as you don't lose the gold armor, the third chest you open will always give you the Psycho Cannon. The ultimate power. It's ridiculously overpowered, killing bosses in one shot while you're wearing said armor. 4 hits without it is still crazy. Let's speed things up a bit. I can't wait to show you.
Get a load of this! Get a load of this! Get a load of this! Ah! He's not gonna get away with this!
Alright, time out here because this part's actually hard on Loop 2. Your damage is still absurd, but you actually have to do the pattern, since the hearts only pop out when they feel like it. You just gotta have extreme patience for this. Don't do anything too rash, especially this late in the game. You get a whole 2 minutes for this fight alone, so treat it like your SAT exam. You got 2 hours, utilize all of it. Come to think of it, I wonder what's the deal with Ohm anyway? Is it some kind of demon hotel or something? It never moves, swims, or does anything. It just poops out grubs and tapeworms all day long. Or maybe its purpose is to generate more demons rather than actually being something that attacks. The Xenomorph Queen has more than one function too. You see all the organs and the tubes running around when you blow up a heart, so my imagination's rather vivid for this kind of stuff. Nevertheless, the outcome's the same since I'm just that good.
Get a load of this!
And that brings us to the true final encounter. I'm gonna let it speak for itself. After one of the greatest gaming struggles of your life, your reward is one of the worst translations I've ever seen in a video game. It's glorious and hilarious. Seriously, I can't even be mad at it because the text is not the point. It's a formality, additional closure coinciding with your own. The point is, you're awesome and prove to yourself that you have great resilience to see something difficult through to the end. Capcom could have just had an extended congratulations screen and it would have almost had the same effect. Just, we get to laugh at the game not even getting its own name right. I guess I should call it Ghouls N Ghosts from here on out. What a twist. And with that, I think I've said everything I could about Ghouls N Ghosts, and its sequel, Super Ghouls N Ghosts, as they are very similar. I really hope anyone stumbling on this video decides to give this game a try. It might have some dated design. It's okay if you'd rather play Contra 3, but if you put yourself in the context of yesteryear, you'll appreciate this art as much as I do. It's creativity like this that made me a gamer in the first place. That artist's ingenuity kept going strong all the way up until the PS5 released. Maybe someday, when the stars align, the money people can get their heads out of their hiney to make something special like this happen again. I want to thank you if you watched this far, friend. I don't care if you subscribe or not, but I would appreciate getting the word out about this game so more people can see what real arcade design looks like. Not this Chuck E. Cheese redemption crap. This is Kyo Kusagani, signing off with glee. I hope you have a wonderful day.